Good afternoon. You're watching the Business Wrap segment with me, Ndogozo Khumalo. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll round up the leading business and economy news out in the week that was. We also have the hot topic chats coming up in a bit. Our first conversation exploring what South Africa being in a polycrisis according to the outcomes of the Nedlac's 28th summit means for employers navigating a fragmented labor market and sluggish economy. And then a little bit later on, we'll take a look at social impact enterprises that have the potential to really alleviate some of those socio-economic pressures of both the government and the private sector's shoulders. But funding to sustain and grow the businesses is often hard to come by, with many financial services providers and potential investors often mistaking such businesses for non-profit organizations. We'll take a look at why that is and how SMEs can work around that in order to access finance. That's all coming up. But first, let's get into our first conversation. And we are looking into the issue around labor issues, South Africa's labor market. Now, we did hear Nedlac, while it did receive some credit for achieving and making progress over the 2022-23 period, including the reports that it did release on Friday when it had that summit, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Thulas Nxesi, did warn that reforms in labor laws remain an area that's requiring a lot of work. And for a little bit more detail and context around this, especially in a polycrisis economy, we are now joined by Leonora, Stanger, Paulsen, who is the co-founder of Global Employers Organization South Africa, or GOSA. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, your mandate as an organization is really to look out for employers.
That's correct,
in this climate. How do we do that when we're hearing that the economy is in a polycrisis, one problem after another? It is a fragmented labor market. How do you then protect employers' interests?
Yeah, you see, I obviously have to explain to you the very good thing about GOSA. It's known as the Global Employers Organization South Africa. It is there to represent employers from all walks of life, not only one sector, but different sectoral determinations. Having said that, it's your small, it's your micro, it's your medium, and your large entities that GO is there for. So in order for GO to assist the employers, GO needed to first obviously find out what was the burning issues of employers. Why are the employers always having issues, you know? And the most expensive cost to company is the labor cost, because the employer has to comply with quite a few statutory requirements, which is good. We have to comply, but then we go over and above, and we also have your employee benefits, such as your provident fund, your death and disability, funeral cover, and so forth. We are saying, as the companies are looking, as we look at the companies, we shouldn't just take the companies holistically and put a number there and say this is the percentage across the board for all companies. Then we must look at the companies in a singular manner. You know, look at this companies, this is your small sector, approximately, if you use it from the magnitude of 0 to 10, that would be your small, maybe from 11 to 50, that will be your medium or micro. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, employers are suffering with labor costs, especially when it comes to, like I said, to the employee benefits pertaining to the bargaining councils. And they have to comply. It's important because every employee needs to be covered. But we are saying, look at the affordability of the employer's income after, you know, he has made his profit. You get what I'm saying? And
adding already to the cost that they already do have. Just stopping you there quickly, Leonora, maybe to give us some detail around, because Minister Thulas Nxesi did mention that, you know, transformation of or labor reforms are taking place slowly. What do those labor reforms look like specifically for SMEs, and why should there be some sort of differentiating factor there?
Yeah, so some of the labor reforms we also need to look at is, most of the statutory requirements doesn't speak to the employer much. It speaks to the employer. I think we should go back and look at it and amend it and addendum and put addendums where there needs to be. So, for example, one of the things that an employer is supposed to be doing is to create more employment, for example. So to upskill your employees within the workplace. So the good thing about GOSA is that we don't only say that we are there for the employer. We're trying to build amicable employment relationships where the employer and the employee, have reached consensus or some sort of middle ground where both parties are benefiting. Right now, it's more beneficial to the employee than that of the employer because, as we've said earlier on, the costs are more. Another thing is with GOSA, we have the expertise of Mrs. Juliet Malembe, who brings about the MSITA trainings, the services CETA trainings within the organization, and she is going to be assisting employers with upskilling and promoting, your employees that are supposed to, grow within a company. We don't say only the employer must grow, the employees must grow. So she's able to bring about her expertise and help employees. Further to that, she's also able to assist with our learnerships and our internships. Where we get learners that are struggling to find work right now because the economy is bad, So we would like to also assist with increasing or assisting in the social economic development within the company, within the country and the companies. Another thing also of the Global Employers Organization is that it doesn't only want to assist employers in South Africa. We want to go outside of South Africa.
So a continental view of really balancing, and really you went into the next question of finding that balance of both the employer and the employee being protected, specifically within that SME sector that is essential for really helping to grow the economy. And unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so much, Leonora, for your time. Just having that conversation about some of the labor issues that still need to be resolved in the South African economy in that context of the polycrisis that the economy in. So great insights for small to medium-sized businesses to really follow into on how to protect themselves in this market. And of course, that was Leonora Stanger Paulsen, who is the co-founder of Global Employers Organization South Africa.